What is a bad habit you're working on overcoming?
So one, again, a low level one is that I have this. So I like snacking. I really like chips, potato chips. When we go to different countries, I often seek out what the interesting flavors there are. And I think after having done it in many countries, I'm realizing there isn't that much more variety in regular grocery stores, at least at most places. But anyway, so that I had this tendency of that if after work if I'm listening to a podcast or if I'm watching a show, I would like snacking with it. And I've been trying to do less and less of that. And I've been quite successful at it. So I'm actually kind of proud of that.
What is a bad habit you're working on overcoming?
Um, I don't know if it's a bad habit, but one thing that I've been trying to change is sort of trying to avoid things that like rile me up before bed, of trying to have, like a couple hours before bed where I'm not going to read something on the internet that's sort of me fired up or my blood boiling or something, and just trying to kind of, say, okay, there's a couple hours before bed that is just, time to relax. There's time during the day to sort of to get fired up and to sort of deal with difficult things, but let's have a little bit of peace before bedtime. Just try to do that.
Interesting. I don't know if you remember this, but a few years ago, you and I were sharing a room at a conference, and you had taught me a trick of trying to work at a problem at night right before going to sleep. And your subconscious can be working at it almost. So it's interesting. You're almost trying to do the opposite of that now. Or at least you're trying to be more in control of what you assign to your subconscious.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think it's again the kind of like the detaching thing, right? Of like trying to create some boundaries and trying to say, like it's like there's a time to kind of spend all of your time turning over things, but there's an endless supply of things to turn over in your head, and like there has to be some stop, I think. So yeah, maybe that's a change. Maybe that's something I've changed my mind about.
Nicely done. Is there a bad habit you're working on overcoming?
Bad habit. I mean, like a lot of bad habits. I mean, like some bad habits. I mean, like I overcome. Like for instance, until a couple of years ago or so, actually a bit more than that. I used to be like heavy smoker. I kind of completely quit. I don't smoke at all. I mean, I haven't even thought about it. It was actually I should have used that as the answer to the past one. Yeah, I really flipped overnight, essentially almost.
Interesting.
So that one, yeah. So that's, I guess, the one bad habit I have already overcome. But of course, there are many other bad habits. So, for instance, bad habits. Yeah, bad habits as in like, oh my God, I slack too much when I need to take a rest, and then I watch Netflix too much. I watch all those cooking video clips way too much. Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous amount of cooking clips that I watch these days. So I probably need to learn to kind of stop watching those things when I feel like I started to repeatedly watching the same thing over and over. And then otherwise, I don't really have much of the habits to start with, I guess. Well, drinking, but I think I don't drink that much. Perhaps a bit more than average, but not like a top K or something like this. Yeah.
What is a bad habit you're working on overcoming?
A bad habit that bad habit. Yeah, sometimes yeah for workout usually I skip it and say, yeah, today I'm tired. I'm not in the mood of that, and so let's skip. So I try to push myself. I have to do the workout, and that's That's a bad habit that I'm now struggling with.
What is a bad habit you're working on overcoming?
I'd love to say being critical of myself, but that's probably not true. Um, yeah, well, I have a tendency to order takeout a lot. And I think at various points in my life, I try to start cooking more. But invariably, I'll always fall back on, picking up food instead. I don't know if that's really a habit per se, but it's something I do daily.
Yeah. Through the pandemic, Devi and I are also pretty hooked on to like salad delivery. So we were pretty happy as soon as we were able to convince ourselves that this is healthy, so it's fine. Like we're not gonna.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like a big enjoyment for me. Well, not right now during pandemic, but in general, like I love exploring new places, new restaurants, and so that's part of the way I justify it too. Is like, wow, I mean, there's this new place, we can go support them. It's like that sounds really good, doesn't it?
Yeah. What is a bad habit you're working on overcoming?
So many. Biting my fingernails, not exercising enough, yeah, I think biting my fingernails, that's something that I hate doing, and I'd like to stop.
I've given up on trying to overcome that. Like it's just I've accepted that that's just who I am at this point.
I know. I just can't. Like, yeah, you're right.
No, you don't have to do that.
No.
I wish you well. I wish you overcome it.
I know it's tough, because it's tough to see that you actively don't like something that you want to change, and for some reason you can't. Like, you don't have that power to do. It's unique. I don't know. I'd like to change it. I've succeeded many times, and then something happens and I go back to I'm angry.
Yeah. What is a bad habit you're working on overcoming?
Bad habit I'm working on overcoming. I think I'm trying to work out more and maintain a healthier lifestyle. When work from home started, I had a really bad eating schedule. I think I was overeating a lot and not eating like regular times of the day and stuff. So I've been trying to make, overall my lifestyle healthier.
What is a bad habit you're working on overcoming?
Well, it would have been good if I was working on overcoming my bad habits. I'm not sure that I am.
Yeah, a lot of these questions have premises embedded in them that you can feel free to rebut. They are embedded for a reason. It gives people a way of thinking about things. But
yes, so I sometimes tend to tell people what to do, whether people around me or students. I get picky about some things, and I try not to be. I get picky about how you structure your report to me, because I think the way you write it is indicative of how you think about it. And so I sometimes get picky about, well, this is not consistent. I don't know what you're talking about, which is sometimes kind of petty. I don't do that too much, but I have that inclination. And I think I sometimes tend to tell people what to do, which I don't like. I've been pretty good about not telling people in public to fix their mask, going back to the same topic that I'm apparently fixated on. I recently gave someone a very mean look. In fact, I gave 2 people very mean looks, but that's the worst I've done.
what does your mean look like?
Oh, I don't know. It's pretty bad, I think. I don't know. I've never looked at myself in the mirror, but I think I can give pretty mean looks.
Okay. On the first point, though, I think for writing, especially technical writing, it can be quite helpful to imagine a hyper literal reader who is going to provide or come to your report with or writing with no context and give no sort of liberal justification. That's a great way of knowing where you're failing. So that's a useful thing I think you're teaching your students.
Yeah, I'll be this fall. We have a course at Pitt for CS PhD students. It's about kind of essentially research training course, and I think one thing all my pet peeves I'll try to convey in that course, which I think are actually important. I agree with you. There's things that seem small, but actually not small. Yeah, so we'll see what I come up with and whether they come out better writers and better debaters, thanks to my pet peeves. Doubtful, but I'll try.
If you put that material online, I will happily send people towards it.
Sure. I don't think I'm really, I think I learned a lot of how I operate from my advisor, who maybe, I'm not sure where she learned that, but I think it's good to be picky about these things.
What is a bad habit you're working on overcoming?
Yeah, I have a bunch. My minor ones are like, I don't know, floss more, things like that. But other bad habits. Yeah, I think you definitely mentioned time management. I work a little bit on kind of anger questions, or like getting frustrated and trying to be kind of productive in criticism, and like really like working hard on kind of giving direct feedback, but in a kind of positive way, or in, I think it's something that I think it's something I want to get better on or work on more closely.
Going back to the idea of crucial conversations, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What is a bad habit you're working on overcoming?
Probably like stress eating. Like, it's a minor thing. It's not like this big problem in my life, but boy, if I've had a bad day, there's like an impulse. So I was an overweight kid and like had a bunch of snack food. So like there's this internal impulse of like, man, I could just go buy a bag of chips. I'm an adult. I have money. I could just go and buy something that will give me dopamine and make me feel better about this moment. And like fighting those tendencies is probably the biggest bad habit that I try to break at this point.
What is a bad habit you're working on overcoming?
Sugar. Food is delicious, and sugar is especially delicious. And I just, I don't, eat my sadness, as it were, but I definitely eat my happiness, and I need to stop doing it.
That's even worse, given how content and happy you are with the world.
Oh man, I have to just pay more attention. It's just it's really easy. It's a really bad habit. I just I grab the thing that's in front of me because it's easy and I know better, but I do it anyway. That's the thing I'm thinking about most, because I'm hitting that age where I suddenly have to start worrying about that whole I'm going to live forever and there'll be no consequences to any of the health decisions that I make. I'm past that stage, and so I'm really having to think kind of hard about it. That's a bad habit, and that, by the way, it's a stand-in for a bunch of bad habits like that. Right? It's I'm picking the one, but there's a whole class of them that are like that I absolutely need to break.
Where the mental acceptance of the things that you can no longer sustain has yet not arrived.
Yeah, and when I get there, I'll let you know. But I mean, I can see it in the distance, but I haven't quite accepted the inevitability of a whole bunch of things. Although I'll say, what I used to do, I haven't done this in a couple of years, but every once in a while, I will become a vegetarian or a pescatarian for 3 or 4 months. I'll usually pick a date, like, I'll to the end of the semester or something like that. Not because I intend on doing it forever, but because I want to prove to myself I can if I ever have to. And I've discovered a lot of things, including that I don't like most vegetables, and that I really like bacon. There's a bunch of things I've learned about myself in that process, but the point of the exercise was to go, well, one day when a doctor tells me I'm going to have to start eating vegetables and nothing else. I'll know that I'm capable of doing it. So I do stuff like that every once in a while. It's been about 2 years since the last time I went through that, but it's a helpful exercise. It's actually something that I'd recommend to people, not necessarily being a vegetarian, but doing something that you kind of know in your heart you're going to have to do one day for just a short period of time, so that you'll know that when it comes, you'll be able to handle it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And for me, that's food.
What is a bad habit you're working on overcoming?
Oh, I probably have many. Better time management would be a good start.
I don't know if that's a bad habit though. Like you may be deriving value from the lack of structure.
Yeah, actually, it may be a good thing for me that I just have a particular kinds of attention span. I mean, I work hard. It's just that I'm not able to box myself into predefined schedule very well. But who knows, it may be important in doing particular kind of research or yeah, I don't know. Or it might be just the way it is with my limited brain. I don't know how some people just mechanically like really follow their timetable. Like, wow, I cannot do that. I'm a human, you know, with the feelings. I don't want to change what I'm working on right now. This is what I enjoy doing right now. Don't take it away.